I'm George Beaton, and today I'm in conversation with Michael Alf. G'day, Michael. Thank you for joining this conversation.
My pleasure.
Michael is the founder of Your Firm Everywhere Now, a startup, digital consultancy specialising in professional services firms, based out of Melbourne, but of course in the nature of digital, working everywhere.
Absolutely.
Highly congruent with the title of his best-selling, number one best-selling book. And Michael's kindly agreed to discuss with us some of the trends that he's seeing in digital that are affecting professional services firms. Michael, what are you seeing and how are these trends playing out?
Thank you, George. Yeah, I think digital is really becoming more and more important and relevant also for professional service firms. I just want to make 2 points here. One, what I see is that digital is actually affecting all elements of the value chain, also in professional services firms. So it obviously starts on the marketing side, yeah, with all the online and the social media and things like that. But it also affects operations. There are more and more business models coming up, like automation, legal process outsourcing, and things like that, which are impacting the complete value chain end to end. So that's one point. So it's really across the whole value chain. Secondly, the very, very big trend at the moment and very, very current is mobile. Just imagine that more than 50% of the internet traffic is now happening on a mobile phone or a smartphone. And roughly 70% of the searches are starting on a mobile. So that is massive and totally underestimated by most professional services firms.
Michael, there are two categories of professional services, essentially those that serve other businesses, the B2Bs, and that's those that serve the retail or consumer market. Are these trends, as you see them, affecting equally the B2B and the B2B specialists?
Yeah, I think, George, that's an excellent question. I would say what I'm seeing right now, it's obviously in the B2C space. That's very, very current, actually very, very critical to address those needs and the changes. But I see that also in the B2B. The B2B segment is also changing, probably at a slightly slower pace, but equally relevant. When you think about, we are always on the move. So when I talk about the mobile again, yeah, that is relevant in B2B as well. When your clients are no longer actually seeing a proper website or can't find you at all on the smartphone, then that's kind of a negative,
or can't read the
impression.
Documents that
Yes,
you've sent them or put up for them to read or access the extranets where they are being served.
Yeah, so it's really around all channels. So how do you address actually all channels your clients are working on? And if they prefer to use an app, then you need to have an app.
So this is the omni-channel phenomenon that we are beginning to understand how it affects professional services.
Absolutely.
So as I read the concept of disruption and how the disruptive forces take effect, they are typically in areas of large unmet need where there is spare capacity. In other words, if you look at Uber or Airbnb, these are classic examples of an unmet need, spare capacity, private motor vehicles or private accommodation that is competing with the incumbents, the taxi companies, and the hotels and service departments and so on. And if you then come to where's that going to take off in the professional world, it is going to be with consumers, and we're already seeing that. We're seeing in the United Kingdom, for example, online dispute resolution being trialled. So get your divorce online. You don't have to ever see each other again.
Yes.
But we also know that this innovative disruption trickles up. And so it begins in this large market where there are multiple opportunities to experiment. Yes. Michael, and where's the technology going? I heard recently that Google is announcing a new algorithm. What does that mean, for example, to a professional services firm?
That actually can have a massive impact. So what Google is doing now, they announced that I think in February, and it's actually effective 21st of April. They changed again their Google algorithm, and you might have heard about panda and penguin, these nice animals. For some, actually, they lost so much traffic and business, some organizations and businesses. What is happening right now, Google is kind of acknowledging that mobile is highly critical. Eric Schmidt, the executive chairman, already said that I think 15 months ago, and now they turn on the heat basically. What that means is when your site is not mobile friendly, then it might not show up anymore. And now think about that 50% of the searches are starting on the mobile. Yeah? So you might lose overnight 50% of your search traffic. That is highly relevant for any B2C, but also important in the B2B segment. So even more so, once you lose 50% of that traffic, your overall site becomes less relevant, and therefore you might actually lose out on some other traffic. So this is actually really, really important to address that. Google makes it very simple. There is a simple test where you can test your site. Is it mobile friendly or not? It's black and white, or red and green in that case. And then either you need to act or not. So, but it's really, I encourage everybody really to check that out and take the measurements to prevent any negative impact on the firm.
So Michael, in this conversation, which I hope will be the first of many, what should a professional services firm do in thinking about the digital opportunities and digital threats it faces, whether they're big or small? What advice would you give a firm?
Yeah, I think I would like to put something out here to the audience as a hypothesis. Consider, at the moment you have a marketing department, and potentially you're building up a business development, sales department, operations, and so on. What I encourage to consider is building up an R&D arm in your organization. And that goes far beyond kind of IT and technology. That is a key component of it. But it is much more about what are the trends of the future and how do they impact you? Because fact is, the rate of change is increasing. So therefore you need to be better prepared than before. And you might not be able to actually wait until kind of the masses are doing something. So I encourage, consider an R&D department. For the larger firms, obviously you have the funds to do so. For the medium term and medium-sized and smaller-sized ones, I suggest considering partnering with innovative organizations outside, bring that knowledge in and develop your strategy around that.
And
so that would be my advice.
we are seeing these partnerships emerge in the United Kingdom, which is the origin of a lot of innovation in professional services, particularly law, in the past few years, and accelerating because of the amount of private equity that's being poured into it. We're seeing innovative businesses like Riverview Law partnering with universities in artificial intelligence. We're seeing Allen & Overy, one of the great London firms, investing major investments in R&D, again with third parties. In the United States, we're seeing Latham & Watkins, one of the world's largest and most prestigious firms, in a partnership with IBM, with Watson, to be there at the table, to be influencing the direction of the research, and to be early beneficiaries of the research. So clearly the digital revolution is on the march through professional services.
Great examples,
firms.
George. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us this
Thank you,
afternoon.
George. It was a great pleasure. Thank you.